What's up, guys? Tucker Singh here, S&S Smithing. We're going to take a little bit of a break from our coil spring hand tool series, just kind of mix it up a little bit. We're going to get back to a couple basic projects for the next few videos, and we're coming back and we're just going to keep adding on to that, and we're going to build up our tool collection till we get to our Gator sculpture build coming up here soon. So today we're going to do something relatively simple. We're going to take some 1/2 inch by 1/8 flat bar. We're going to forge a heart hanging hook. Alright guys, so we're going to start off with our 1/2 by 1/8 inch flat bar. We're going to split the very end of it a little ways back for the tines for our heart. Then we'll draw down a little bit off of the end. We're going to kind of squeeze in a bit, give a little bit of a bulbous shape here for our holes. We're going to punch them, and then we're going to draw out for our hook to hang stuff on. Alright, first off we're going to use our hot cut we forged in the previous video in our hand tool series, and then we're just going to kind of split back, hook, come back probably about 1.5 inches or so, and just kind of start splitting it back here. Get her marked off roughly there. We're not going to drive her all the way through this heat. We're going to forge out our center line to follow. Then we'll split it fully out. Right like that. So now we have a nice hard line that we can follow. Alright guys, so now we have a split. Come back about 1 3/4 back. We didn't split all the way through on the bottom because of the crescent shape of our chisel. Doesn't quite get there, even though we have our splitting edges on that. It didn't quite open it up. So what I'm going to do, throw in the hardy, snap it on top of it, and then just kind of drive it down to flat bottom out that cut and clean off the burrs. Well, now we got our cut finished off, bottomed out. I'm just going to draw out our tines to forge into our heart. I'm not going to finish them all the way out, but I'm going to get them most of the way forged. And then we're going to move on to our body, separating the body from where the hook's going to be and from the heart. Okay, so we're coming to the horn here. We're going to open up our tines a bit, and then we're going to draw them out over the horn. Alright, now I've gotten our tines drawn out fairly well. Now we're just going to kind of form our heart shape here. Just work her over the anvil and curl them in until they touch in the center. Alright, there's our rough heart. We will finish shaping it up once we get everything else drawn out. But that'll do for now. Next, we're just going to kind of pinch down a little bit here with the guillotine tool we made in an old video. We'll narrow that down a little bit, just kind of give a different transition into the main bar. We'll give probably about a 2-inch section or so. That's going to be where our mounting holes will go, and then we'll do our scrolled hook end on the other end. So, now you guys can kind of see, we pinched off the base of our heart, kind of gave it a nice cleaner transition into our bar there. So, next we're just going to leave about 2 inches for our mounting holes, and then we'll draw out a section of bar here for our hanging hook, and then give it a nice flat scroll onto the end. So now we have our main base plate for our mounting holes kind of sectioned off. Now I'm just going to draw out a section for our hook here a little bit, just give it a little bit more meat, because again this is only 1/8 inch, so we're just going to narrow down a section, and then we're going to hopefully get a fish end screw on the very end once we get it ready to go, before we cut it off the parent bar, and then we will punch our holes, and then it'll almost be done. Alright guys, so we have our hook section drawn out to length pretty much. So next thing, we're just gonna knock off our sharp corners here. I'm gonna leave a thicker pad here on the end when we go to cut it off, because we're gonna flare that out and do a fishtail scroll on it. So corners, then we're gonna go over the hardy, cut it off, draw out our fishtail, scroll it over, bend our hook, and punch our holes here for mounting, and then we are good. So guys, part of like order of operations on stuff, figuring out when things are going to be the easiest to do at what part of the process. So I think I'm going to go ahead, lay out for my holes here. So I'm going to just kind of travel along the center here. So there's our center line. Then I'm going to come, we're eyeballing this, so just cross that way about probably almost a ½ inch up from the bottom, from where our taper begins here, where we keep a bar the same, about the same thing here. I'm going to center punch these, and then I'm going to round punch them while I still have a handle to hold on to with. Alright guys, so we have our punched holes in there. Now I'm just going to cut this off on our bar. Then we're going to forge out our scroll, bend it up, and she's done. Now that we have this cut off, I'm going to take a cross peen and we're just going to spread this out, and then we're going to roll it over as a fishtail scroll, and then we're going to bend up our J hook here, and that will be our heart hanging hook. Alright guys, so there's our scroll. Next thing we're going to do is just forge out our hook to hang this up with, cheer up our heart a little, wax it, and she's done. Alright guys, so like I said, I was straightening her up cold real fast because we had a little kink in her and snapped it. So that happens, especially working on this thinner material. It gets overly stressed and fractures. So I'm gonna whip one more up real fast so we can finish it out, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so here is our second one forged up real fast. The hole's a little bit off center, but I was trying to get one done real quick for video's sake, so the holes are a little bit off. And I'm gonna let it heat up real quick outside the forge. We're gonna wax it, and she's done. Then we'll do our beauty shots. Side by side, here was our first go that snapped in half. We have our quick second run at her after she's waxed. There she is. Nice flat back. Elliot will sit flush against the wall. Not too shabby, if I might say so myself. Alright guys, so that's our heart hanger, our two holes, our fishtail scroll, our loop for holding and hooking things. So these make great gifts. They sell well at craft shows. It's good to get some experience chiseling, like splitting, forging scrolls, a couple different techniques that are great for a beginner. So guys, if you enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments. And this was a great example on don't give up on things. Just because it doesn't work once doesn't mean that it won't work when you do it again. Mistakes happen to us all. So guys, remember, forge your fate. Don't forget to subscribe.